In this video, I'm going to make a lip gloss that looks just like a push-up pop. And if you'd like to make it with me, all the materials are in a nice kit on mandalaart.com. So I'm going to start by breaking off a third of each piece of clay and setting that to the side, and then taking the two larger pieces and flattening them a little bit so we can mix them together, and that's going to be the base of the push-up pop. You just want to swirl the colors together and then kind of flatten it out so we can wrap this around our little lip balm tube. So we're going to take some aluminum foil and the lip balm tube, and you're going to wrap the foil around the tube, and this is just going to keep the clay or prevent the clay from sticking to the tube while we form our push-up pop. So just roll the foil around the tube and then tie off the edges and make sure it's not too bulky on the ends or anywhere around the tube. And then flatten your clay out one more time and then wrap it around that tube, and then I'm going to use an X-Acto knife to trim off the excess and to just make it look a little more even. So now I'm just smoothing all the edges, and then I'm pressing that bottom down and then kind of like forming it together so that it's just an even cylinder. So now I'm going to trim the top with an X-Acto knife, and that's going to make it a little more even across the top. See, now it's all flat. And remember, you want it to be the same size as your wrapper, so you may have to trim it a little bit more. Now we're going to stick that popsicle stick in, and this is going to make an indentation, and it'll still be there so we can put it in after we bake it. Now we're going to remove the lip balm tube because we don't want to bake that will melt. And we're going to bake our base, and the aluminum foil, that's fine to bake, and we're going to bake it for about 15 to 20 minutes at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Now that it's all baked and cooled off, I'm going to remove the aluminum foil and line that template up again just to make sure everything's good. Now I'm going to cut off the edges and get ready to glue it. I put the glue mainly all around the base, and then once I wrap the wrapper or the template on the base, I added a little bit more wherever the template overlapped. Once you have all your glue in place and you're holding it, you can use a rubber band to keep it secure so you don't have to hold it the whole time. And now I'm just going to trim my popsicle stick down, and I added some glue. I'm just going to stick that in there and let it dry. It's all dry, and I'm going to remove that rubber band, and now I'm going to glue in the lip balm tube itself. So I'm going to add only a little bit to the bottom of the tube, because once you push it down, that glue will spread and kind of come up to the top, so you don't want to add too much. And once that's in there, you want to push it down and let it dry completely. Now that our lip balm tube is dry, the glue is dry, we're going to put the top in, screw it on. To protect that paper that is the wrapper, we're going to use some clear varnish or clear acrylic paint, and I'm just going to use generous coats and then let that dry completely, and it'll make it all shiny and nice like this. The last almost final part, we're at the top. So we're going to cover it in aluminum foil again. You don't want it to be too much aluminum foil, so rip off any excess. We're going to take the other two pieces of clay that we had in the beginning, and I'm just going to make 2 circles with each piece. Once you have the 2 circles, then I cut them in halves and then to quarters, and now I'm just assembling them with the opposite color right next to each other. Once you have them arranged, you'll have 2 extra pieces. Set those aside and then press the top together so that all the seams meet, and you can just use your finger to kind of press the clay and slide your finger across the top of the clay, and that will smooth out any edges or creases or lines where the clay meets each other. Now those other two pieces, we're just gonna press them together and make another little circle and then kind of push that under, and this is just going to thicken up that piece so we can put it on the top and it'll be large enough. So once you have it all formed together, then you just want to kind of press that on the top with the top and the center of your circle. And once you start pressing it in, then you can bring the sides down or the edges down and start forming those. And you just want to be careful. You don't have to move too quickly in the beginning. It'll all come together eventually. And so I'm just forming it, sculpting it, kind of rolling it so that I can make that little push-up pop shape. And this is optional. If you want it to have more of a hard edge, you can use your X-Acto knife again and just cut off that top layer so it's just flat. So now that it's all finished, we're gonna gently take that top off. You may have to wiggle it a little bit. And after it's off, you want to take it and bake it again at 275 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 20 minutes. After that top is fully baked, you can pull out the aluminum foil, let it cool off first so you don't burn your fingers, and then pull out that aluminum foil, and now it's ready to be glued into place. So we're going to find where we want it or where it was while we were sculpting it and mark it so you can put it in that perfect place once we glue it. And now there's a mark inside the tube, on the tube, and inside that little top. So I'm going to take off the tube and then use that as a guide when I glue in the top. So after you have it glued in place and you're waiting for it to dry very patiently, you can take your coconut oil, and I'm using a double boiler, or I'm just using a glass bowl and a pot, and I'm boiling some water so I can melt the coconut oil. You can use a microwave if you want, doesn't matter. We just want to melt the coconut oil, and then we're going to throw in that pigment and mix it all up, and it'll have like a bright pink color, but it'll still be very sheer. And of course, this recipe of lip gloss is vegan and cruelty free, so that's pretty awesome. So now we're gonna pop in this little top, and this basically just removes the excess lip gloss from the doe foot applicator when you pull it out of that tube. So that's pretty cool. And this is what the lip gloss looks like on skin. It's pretty sheer. So I hope you loved and enjoyed this video, and if you decide to make this lip gloss, I would love to see it. Please share it with me, and don't forget to check out this kit on mandalaart.com.